And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Colleen versus Bradford. Step forward, please.
23-year-old bartender Nita Colleen is suing her former friend, 27-year-old furniture refinisher Terrence Bradford, for assaulting her during a night of drinking.
Miss Colleen, how do you know the defendant?
Terrence Bradford was a friend of mine.
What does that mean, a friend of his? Was he a boyfriend?
A friend of mine, just an associate. We lived a block away from each other. If I wasn't working and he wasn't working, we'll call each other, go out.
It's your complaint that he assaulted you for no reason one evening when you were both drinking.
Right.
Mr. Bradford says that you were drunk and you went nuts and he was merely defending himself. So I want you to tell me when this happened, what kind of an assault it was, what your injuries were, and then I have a few other serious questions to ask you.
Okay.
When was it?
It was on September 11th of 2002.
Where were you and what were you doing?
I was in Terrence Bradford's home. We were...
Who else lives in his home?
His mother, and I think his stepfather, his father.
Were they home?
His mother was home, yes.
Go ahead. What time of the day?
Around 11, 12 o'clock at night.
Come on, let me hear what happened.
Okay, what happened was... Terrence called me earlier that night. He was like, "What you doing?" I said, "Nothing, I'm not doing anything." "Well, let's go get some beer that he drinks." Now, this is like some strong beer, and I don't really drink like that. Every time I get with Terrence, I drink with him. And we were drunk that night. We were both drinking. And
in his mother's house?
In his mother's house, yes. And what happened was, I couldn't breathe. I was having difficulty breathing. All I remember was...
You were having difficulty breathing from what?
From, I don't know, I just couldn't breathe. I was on the bed. I remember him calling his mother, asking his mother, what's the matter with her? She's not breathing right. She's acting funny. I remember his mother saying that, you know, just get a cold rag or whatever. She's just been drinking a little bit. She'll be all right. Next thing I know, I'm standing in the kitchen with his mother. Then she has a towel to my head. I don't remember getting hit. I got hit 3 times, actually.
You just told me you don't remember getting hit.
No, I don't remember getting hit. But the way that I got hit, I have pictures if you want to see. I sustained a black eye, my nose was busted, and I have a scar on my head from where I got hit, where actually, if he did hit me, he had to have hit me at least a minimum of 3 times.
Maybe you fell off the bed.
No, I did not fall off the bed.
How do you know?
I did not fall off the bed.
Just a minute, Miss Colleen. What you're telling me is that you were so drunk that you had no idea how you got bruised on your face. Is that what you're telling me?
That I was so drunk. We were drinking that night.
Just a second. No, just a second. If somebody hits you 3 times, severely enough to cause injuries, which you're going to show me in a second,
right,
and you don't remember how that happened, but you're surmising that from the photographs it came as a result of being hit 3 times, what you're telling me is that you don't remember being hit. Is that right? And if you don't remember being hit, you don't remember being hit because you were too drunk. You report him to the police?
No, I didn't.
Just a second. Is there any reason why somebody who has, can I have those pictures? Somebody who has this kind of injury that you claim was as a result of getting beaten by him doesn't report this to the police?
His cousin called me 2 days later. Terrence is sorry, please don't press charges on Terrence.
I'm not interested in that, and I'm not even hearing that.
Okay.
It's hearsay, it's meaningless,
okay.
I don't believe it.
Okay, okay.
You have that witness here today? That person who told you that he was sorry?
That's his cousin. I don't talk to anybody.
Listen to me. Do you have that person here today, Miss Colleen?
No, I don't.
Good, then I'm not interested in what they have to say. Well, this certainly, Bird, do you think, and I want you to just take a look at this, you think that this mark could have happened if you fell off a bed?
It's possible.
Yeah, sure, anything's possible. All right, Mr. Bradford, tell me what happened.
When she came around my house, she was already a little drunk. So I said, let's go to the store and get some more beer.
That was a smart thing to do. That was initially a smart thing to do, sir. So she was already a little drunk, and you said, let's go get some more. Is that right?
Yes,
please. How old are you?
27.
The future of America. So she's already drunk. You said, let's go get some more beer, and I assume that you went in her car. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what you tell me in your answer. You got in her car. She was already drunk.
Yeah.
And you drove to get some more beer.
Mm-hmm.
Who drove?
I did.
Who drove?
Did I drive? Oh, I forgot. I don't know. I did
he's
drive.
Lying. He's lying.
Miss Colleen.
What am I lying
Miss
about?
Colleen.
Lying
I don't want to hear you.
everything.
I'm enjoying this,
Lying.
please. Go ahead.
After we got the beer, we went out Huntersville, on my old
You
neighborhood.
went what?
So after we got the beer, we went out Huntersville. It's a neighborhood, I used to stay out there.
What did you do? Just stay in the car and drink, or you went to friends?
Yeah, went to a friend's house, went to his house.
Okay, so you went to his house and you were drinking. Go ahead.
We out there, we still drinking out there. After we get finished drinking the 40s, we started drinking some liquor. Then Nita started wilding.
She started what?
Wilding.
What is that?
Acting crazy.
I'm crazy.
Right. That I understand.
So I was telling her to calm down, because the security guards out there. Oh, they calm down, Nita. They're gonna arrest you. So I threw her in the car, then went back to my house. I told my mom that she was in there breathing heavy. And then we went outside on the porch because I said she needed some air. And then she just snapped. Then I told her, I said, look, just get your stuff and go home.
So you're going to put her in her car, being as drunk as she was, and send her home?
Oh, she started snapping on me for nothing. I don't know why.
Can I say something?
No. Could you finish, please?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you would look like you were taking a nap. Get to how, if you know, she got these marks on her face. Would you tell me, please?
Okay. I threw her up against the wall.
Okay.
Then I told her to go home. Then I was walking out the door. Then she threw a bottle at me. I dug it, then I hit her.
Where did you hit her?
In her face.
Is that the black eye she had?
Yeah.
Now, how'd she get this mark on her forehead?
I hit on the forehead, too.
Okay, good. And what did she do to you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
She threw the bottle at me.
She threw a bottle at you. What
Yeah.
kind of a bottle did she throw at you?
A 40 bottle.
Do you have any recollection of that?
Ma'am, no. I never went out on the porch that night.
You were drunk.
We were in the bedroom. No, we were in the room watching TV and we were drinking. We had just came back from Huntersville that night.
Miss Colleen,
that.
listen to me very carefully. Don't get drunk. How old are you?
22.
You don't get
23
drunk?
now.
Don't get drunk.
Okay.
That's the lesson. He got drunk. You got drunk. You don't remember what happened to you. He's honest enough or slow enough to tell me that he hit you 3 times, all right? That's honest. He hit you 3 times because he said you threw a 40 bottle at him. Well, that's really no excuse for hitting you 3 times. Maybe a push to get your way if you're drunk, but he was drunk too.
I mean, he wants to get drunk and be hitting on people for no reason because I couldn't breathe or whatever. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Where is your responsibility in all this? He's an idiot.
I don't have any responsibility
you
in
don't?
any of this. That's
Oh,
what
you
I'm
do?
trying to say.
Oh,
if
listen
we're
to me.
friends and we go out
My
and
mouth
drink.
is moving, your mouth has to stop. Your responsibility to yourself as an adult is not to get so drunk so that you don't know what you're doing. You do have a responsibility. Because if he did, in fact, assault you when you had no responsibility, then you would have called the police and made a complaint, and he would have been arrested for assault because that's what he did. And the reason that you couldn't do that, even if you had wanted to do that, is because you were so drunk that you have no self-induced. He didn't order you to drink. He didn't compel you to drink. He didn't get you down on the floor and use a funnel and funnel it into your mouth. You went to his house on purpose for the express purpose of drinking. And I believe everything he says that you did arrive at his house already having consumed alcohol.
Okay, can I say one thing?
No.
He called
No.
2 days
What
later.
what part of no didn't you
apologizing.
understand?
How's
what
he gonna
part
apologize?
of no? What part of no didn't
right.
you understand? Because he's stupid and called you to apologize.
He agreed that he was going to pay for my medical bills.
Good, he
said
should
was
pay for
gonna
your medical bill.
For my one
Good.
day
Just
I
a
missed
second.
from work.
He should pay for your medical bill. Did you agree to pay for a medical bill?
Yes, ma'am. I told
Yes, you did. Good. And what was your medical bill?
$159.
That's what he's going to pay. Judgment for the plaintiff.
He
in the amount of
agreed- no, he agreed to
$159
pay for this, too.
outside.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He was drinking. He was drunk. I was drinking. I was drunk.
I was trying to calm her down.
I was not out of control that night.
I just didn't want to get in trouble, that's all.
Him hitting me, I don't remember any of that. And for him to do that was wrong.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hall versus Carlton. Step forward, please.
Registered nurse Cynthia Hall is suing artist Della Carlton for the money she paid to have a mural painted. Cynthia says Della did a poor job.
Miss Hall, you hired the defendant to paint a mural in the nursery, in your baby's nursery.
Yes, Your Honor.
Paid her $200.
Yes.
She painted the mural. You say it was less than quality work. You want your money back.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it says she did a reasonable job, and you're entitled to nothing. How did you find the defendant?
I went to a local baby store called Gore's in Sacramento, and they had a portfolio of her, and she really had a really nice portfolio there. So I was kind of at the end of my pregnancy and really wanted to get someone to do the mural for me right away.
And in her portfolio, did it list references?
I didn't see any references.
Did you ask her for references?
No, I didn't.
And she came to your house?
She came to my house.
First you called her on the phone?
Yes.
Did you set a price with her on the phone?
Over the phone, we didn't really set a price. She actually came out, and I kind of discussed with her what I was wanting, but no price was set over the phone.
And so you discussed price when she came out to the house?
Yes.
And she was going to charge you?
Originally, I told her $300 for the labor.
And then?
Then later I realized I hadn't told her that I usually got $30 for supplies. So the total cost, I priced it at $330.
Okay.
And then she told me that she was on a limited budget and that she didn't want to spend any more than $200, including supplies. So I agreed to that, and I came out to her house and did the artwork.
And how long did it take you?
4.5 hours plus.
Okay, can I see the picture of what you did?
Yes, Your Honor. What I have here is her photos. I have the photos from Gore's because she did the bathroom there, a mural in the bathroom at Gore's.
I'm not interested in the photos from Gore's. You made the selection. You selected her as an artist. That's your problem, Miss Hall.
Okay.
And she painted on the wall these little butterflies?
Yes, they're about 6 inches. She stenciled them. I was not expecting those things. I was actually expecting her to give me something more three-dimensional, something that I could actually kind of come to life. I asked for a dragonfly in specific.
Upside down, that looks pretty good to me. She did all these flowers here?
Yes.
Looks lovely.
You can see the eraser marks that kind of still showed through. After it dried, it really, really showed through.
Listen, you didn't pay for a $5,000 Picasso, madam. You paid $200 to spruce up your baby's nursery. It looks like she did an absolutely fine job. Baby fine?
Baby's fine.
Boy or a girl?
Girl.
Looks around at the flowers?
Baby looks around at the flowers.
Very good. If you don't like the flowers, paint over them.
But pencil marks show through.
You paid $200 for this artwork. You got $200 worth of artwork, maybe a little bit more. Stop complaining. Don't muddle up your life with things that are really unimportant. She came to your house twice. She came first to give an estimate. She gave you an estimate of $330. Then you said, I can't spend more than $200. She said, okay, I'll do it for $200. She came out, she did the work. She was there for 4 hours. Certainly she's entitled to be paid for her labor. You paid her for her labor after the work was done. Is that right?
Yes.
Then later you looked at it and you said, I don't like this. I see a pencil mark. I see a smudge. I see an eraser mark.
That's because after it dried, it really showed through. You could see all
I want to tell you something. You certainly can't see that from the pictures. All you see from the pictures is lovely, light artwork. So concentrate on important things, not things that aren't important. The case is dismissed. That's all.
Bodies are excused. You may step out.
I did my artwork for her, and it was not unprofessional or any different than I would have done for anybody else.
I don't feel like it was quality at all.
You could see some pencil lines through it.
You can see that it's not quality work.
If you look at my artwork in various places, you can always see a little bit of pencil lines through it.
I called her the next day to come back, and she didn't want to come out and assess it.
We had agreed to 4 hours worth of work for $200.
She charges $50 an hour, and I just don't think it's worth that.
I didn't want to do additional work without getting paid.
I think I'll just go ahead and let my 15-year-old do his work because it's much more professional than what I have there now.
Accountant Cindy Yoakum is suing her ex-boyfriend, car salesman Andrew Montgomery, for bail money and for the cost of a trip to California.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 476 on the calendar in the matter of Yoakum versus Montgomery. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Miss Yoakum, you and the defendant had a relationship which is no longer, and it is your claim that Mr. Montgomery owes you for half a trip that you took together to California. And in addition, there is still a remaining balance that he owes you on some bail money that you wired for him, which allowed his get-out-of-jail almost free card. Mr. Montgomery says that the trip to California that you took was a gift, and that while he does acknowledge that you posted bail for him at one point, he says he's paid you the entire $500 back. Is that right, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, tell me about this trip to California. When did you take it and what were the circumstances?
Your Honor, Mr. Montgomery in August had offered to take me on vacation for my birthday, which is September 9th. Offered to pay for it with the check for vacation that he had been anticipated on receiving.
No, Ms. Yoakum, listen to me. There are certain things that ring true.
Right.
Boyfriends say, I want to take you on a vacation. Let's go on a vacation.
Right.
Great. Where do you want to go? I want to go to
California.
California. Boyfriend doesn't say, I'm going to pay for it with a check that I'm going to get from my job when I left and my... That you don't discuss.
At that point in time, I was not able to afford to go. And
So let's go back a little bit. It's August, and you discuss going on a vacation.
Yes.
Tell me where you were when you first started to discuss going on the vacation.
We were at my home discussing going on vacation for my birthday. He had told me that he was going to pay for the entire trip from a vacation check from his former employer.
Tell me how he said that to you.
I said, I can't afford to go on this trip right now.
So he didn't say to you, I want to take you on a trip for your birthday.
Yes, he did.
Now, shh, Miss Yoakum, listen to me carefully. If he said, I want to take you on a trip for your birthday, then you wouldn't have had any discussion with him about, I can't pay for it now. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Don't fudge the truth. The truth may be all that you need. But when I ask you what was said, you're going to tell me exactly what was said. Because if he said to you, I'm taking you away for your birthday, your response would not have been, I can't afford to go now. Because that wouldn't have been a logical response. Logical response would have been, oh, great. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Right.
Okay, now let's go. Let me hear your version.
What happened is she wanted to go away for a weekend. It was Labor Day weekend, and I had a long weekend off at work. Now, since I had a long weekend off at work, she said, let's go get away, and we were trying to decide where to go. I said, well, I don't have any money on me. I didn't have much money. I just started work at a job closer to her home. And I did get a check right before I went. I said, well, I have a check before I go. All I'll have is spending money. She said, don't worry about it. I'll purchase the tickets. I'll get the hotel wherever we're going to stay and take what money you have and use that for spending money, which I did.
And you went away Labor Day weekend?
Yes.
Yes, I have the receipts for the amounts charged on my credit card.
Let me see. What's Tiffany and Company?
Jewelry store.
I know what it is. What'd you buy there?
I bought a necklace.
For who?
Me.
Well, why is that here?
I just highlighted everything because he had told me he was taking me and he would pay for everything.
No, dear. You don't get it. The only thing I don't see here really is restaurants. Only one restaurant.
We took a large sum of money. I withdrew over $500. He had the $400 from his check, and then an additional $200 that I withdrew from my ATM.
Okay,
which I do have.
So he had $400 that he took with him.
Yes.
That he spent.
And I also had money that I took. I didn't feel that he should pay for, if I wanted any, like, souvenirs.
Necklaces. Shh. Okay, Mr. Montgomery, when you came back from this vacation, were you working, sir?
Yes.
What kind of job were you working at?
I was at a car dealership.
So why didn't you start paying her for at least part of this trip, your airline tickets and the rental car?
Every paycheck I got, I gave her $300 here, $400 there. I gave her plenty of money.
Were you living together?
Yes, we were.
How long did you live together?
5 months.
Is that right?
5 months.
August 5th. I do have a record of every time.
Just tell me how long you lived together.
August 5th.
To when?
I'm sorry, about August 5th to December 5th.
Okay. And he would give you money every month? Or every week from his paycheck?
He gave me a little bit here and there. I have wrote down every amount that he's ever given me.
Let me see it. Bert.
And I gave it to him when...
Let me see it. What, I missed something. I missed something.
Oh, yes.
What did I miss? What did he say? A couple of months, 3? But like that? What did he do? No, I really want to know.
Okay.
It was 5, but I only have, I forgot, I only got 4 fingers on his hand.
His right hand.
So.
And then he switched up, and it was...
I mean, I know I missed something.
It was a moment.
All right, let's get to the bail. Oh. Why were you arrested, sir?
From a previous relationship, a crazy ex-girlfriend. Going through some problems. It had nothing pertaining to do with us.
So you were arrested on an assault charge or domestic violence?
It was a home invasion charge.
I have that right here if you'd like.
When we got back from California,
Can I take a look at it?
she went and bought a wedding dress. She wanted to get married that soon. She went and purchased a wedding dress.
Mr. Montgomery, I'm talking about your arrest. You're talking to me about wedding veils. Did these two things have anything to do with each other?
No.
Good. And if you thought that you were going to get me off track just because of my age, you are not going to be successful, sir. What was the date that you posted this bond?
The date of the bond was, it was 2 days, 3 days before Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving, like a week
November,
before,
sir,
maybe.
and you separated...
It was in November, yes.
November. You separated shortly thereafter in December.
Yes, I was at work, and she came to my work at 8 o'clock at night in the freezing cold.
Whatever.
Closed her with all my belongings.
With a wedding
said,
dress.
Go out.
Okay. How much did he pay you back?
He paid me $220.
Okay. So far, I am satisfied that he owes you $280 for the bond. I'm not so sure about the trip.
He actually
I
asked.
would like you to tell me why it was that after 5 months living together, you chose to evict him in the fashion that you did.
We had a lot of arguments, and frankly, he scared me. His ex-girlfriend had brought him in on domestic violence charges.
And you thought this was the safest way of dealing
I thought
with
it was the safest way. I had my friend with me. I wasn't
So
sure
you were
what he
afraid
would
of
do.
him?
I was afraid. He
were-
made 2 death threats to me.
You were afraid of him?
Yes.
Well, then my question is, and I know that this will sound a little naive to you, if you were afraid of him, why did you subsequently decide to have any contact with him?
He told me he would pay me back before Christmas so that I would have money.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If you're really afraid of somebody and you fear for your life, why would you sue somebody for a couple of bucks if you got them out of your life and they were gone? So that you would have contact with them again, even if it's only briefly.
Your Honor, because I have PPO papers prepared and ready to go as soon as I get home.
What's PPO?
Personal protection order.
Why would you bother with that, though? My question is, why would you bother?
Because I've been in contact with his ex-girlfriend. I know what he's like. I know
Just a minute. What contact have you had with him since he left in December?
I haven't spoken to him.
So he hasn't... Shh. You haven't spoken to him? He hasn't called you?
He kept calling me until the 20th of December.
So several months went by and it's no contact. So why do you have an application ready for a protective order?
Because I'm being called as a witness in his felony trial.
Being called in his felony trial by his ex-girlfriend as a witness?
Yes.
So you got together with the ex-girlfriend?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I did try to contact her,
Which
and she
is what?
refused to sign.
Just a minute. What do you want?
She was harassing me.
I didn't. I'm not looking at you.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Cindy Yoakum says ex-boyfriend Andrew Montgomery owes for bail money and for a trip to California. Andrew says it was her idea to take the trip.
It sounds to me as if you want nothing more to do with him and wanted to sever all ties and just get on with your life, you certainly complicated it, and that was your own doing.
Yes, I realize that.
Good. So it was very foolish. She owes you $280 for the bail. The trip, hope you enjoyed it. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He's got a history of using women. I thought she might help me out.
She went and bought a wedding dress. Right after we got back from California, wanted to get married. I wasn't ready to get married, and I didn't want to get married to her.
Let me see, he's asked me to marry him, he's asked his ex-girlfriend to marry him, and the one before that. He basically takes whoever's got the most money and uses them for whatever he can get.
She contacted me after she booted me out, after she kicked me out, left me in the cold. She called me, had me come up and visit her 3 different times.
He's got home invasion charges. Why am I the person that is the bad person in this case?
Software engineer Peter Clay is suing his ex-fiancée, writer Deborah Todd, for several unpaid loans. Deborah says Peter owes her more than she owes him.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this is case number 490 on the calendar in the matter of Clay versus Todd. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Young lady, have a seat, please.
Who is this?
This is my daughter, Mallory.
How old is she?
15.
I'd like her outside, please. I've read your complaint, and according to your complaint, the defendant was your former fiancé. There came a time when you and your child moved into her home, and it is your claim that you made 2 loans to her. One was for veterinary bills for her dog, and the other was for repairs that were done on her car. Ms. Todd acknowledges the fact that you paid the vet bill, correct?
Yes.
And Ms. Todd acknowledges the fact that you paid to have her car fixed.
Yes.
What she says is that you lived there practically rent-free for the time that you lived there with your daughter. She took care of the majority of the bills, despite the fact that you had an agreement to pay half of the bills. You actually owe her money, but she's willing to say, forget it.
Yes.
Mr. Clay, when did you move into the defendant's house?
Late September, early October of 2000.
And how long did you stay there, sir?
We moved out on January of 2002.
And what was the financial arrangement that you had with Ms. Todd while you were there?
Well, the financial arrangement was never really clear-cut, but I covered things like groceries, Costco, a lot of other expenses, and she paid for household utilities.
Well, so how much money each month did you contribute to the household?
To the household? To put it on a monthly scale, I can give you figures of what I spent during the 14-month period on things like groceries and Costco and pet food and medical bills and cellular phone bills. In total, in rent for the 14 months, I paid her $17,995.74, which is almost $1,200 per month for a 14-month period.
Okay.
There were a couple of months
that would be more than fair.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true that he paid you $18,000?
That's not the figure I have.
What figure do you have?
I have that he paid about $10,000, a little more than $10,000. So basically, there's a huge dispute here. The dispute is that he moved in from a 1-bedroom apartment that he shared with his daughter, in which he slept on the floor. His daughter was a latchkey child at this apartment, and his pet rat died of heat exhaustion in this apartment.
I'll go back in. What I want to know, Mr. Clay, is I want you to tell me about these 2 loans. When were they made?
Okay.
And tell me the circumstances surrounding them.
We were going to go to the Writers Guild Awards. Mrs. Todd wanted us all to go as a family to the Writers Guild Awards, which she was a member of the Writers Guild. And in order to do so, she did not have all of the money necessary. The tickets were, I think, $500. And so in order to do so, I put $700 worth of PG&E bills on one of my credit cards so that that money could be freed to go to the Writers Guild. But then suddenly, her car needed new brakes. It was going to be $1,200. She didn't have the money, and we needed the car to drive to Los Angeles.
Where was your car?
My car is a little teeny Honda Civic. It wouldn't have worked to carry 4 people in their bags to Los Angeles. So I agreed to place that on the credit card with the idea that she was going to pay, with the agreement that she would pay me back.
Well, tell me about the agreement, because you changed your words several times. You said, with my thought that she would pay me back?
Well, yes, it was, okay, I will put this on the card. You will pay me back when you can pay me back. She goes, she would even state, I'll pay you back. I would state, I'm not worried about it. I know you will. We're a family.
So after the Writers Guild Award, did she pay anything towards that?
No.
Okay, now when did the dog get sick?
Well, the first charge for the dog is on the 9th of March. So it was shortly after we got back.
Of 01?
Of 2001, correct.
Okay.
And I took the dog. The dog wasn't eating, so I took the dog to the vet, and the vet said that he had a enlarged spleen. And when the vet came by and said, okay, I'm going to do the splenectomy, it's going to be $2,700. The only way for this to be paid for was by me putting it on my credit card. Unfortunately, while the dog was in surgery, or shortly thereafter, the veterinary hospital broke his leg. They proceeded to take him to Davis Medical Center, where they diagnosed him with a vascular cancer and gave a prognosis of 3 to 6 months, that the leg would not heal, that it would need to be amputated, and he could go on chemo, and this might prolong his life. I was vehemently against this, but once again, I get a phone call from Ms. Todd when she's now in Davis picking up the dog saying, I need you to put this on the credit card and I'll pay you back. And this was another $1,100+ for the amputation of this dog's leg.
Is that correct?
I don't believe I said I will pay you back for these. Peter and I were living as a family. It was, we need to get these expenses done and we need to put them on the card. It wasn't as though I just rushed up to UC Davis. We discussed this with the kids, we discussed this with Peter, we discussed it with our veterinarian at great length, and decided that the treatment for the dog was to go to UC Davis.
What about, Ms. Todd, the expenses for the car?
I also put well over that amount of money into the car for car repairs. It was used primarily as the family car.
I assume that it was used primarily
Yeah.
as the family car.
Yeah, it's a big Ford Explorer. As he said, he has a little Honda, and we hardly went any place in his car.
Mr. Clay, I have several questions for you, sir. I assume that by virtue of the fact that the two of you were standing on opposite sides of the table, that this relationship did not work out.
No, it did not.
Let us assume it had. And you got married. And she didn't give you back this money. Would you be suing her?
Possibly not.
Then that's not a debt.
When somebody...
You see. No, first of all, I'm going to read to you what you wrote with regard in your complaint, which could have very easily resolved at least a substantial part of this lawsuit. You say she was out of work and was in the process of taking her dog's vet to court for malpractice.
Correct.
She promised me that as soon as she won her lawsuit, she would pay me what she owed me.
Correct. Which
That's what you say?
Yes.
So she promised to pay you back for the car and the vet when she won her lawsuit.
Correct.
But she lost her lawsuit.
Correct.
Then you get nothing.
That was not that.
That's what you wrote. Do you understand? That's what you wrote. So, 10 months she made no payments. And you didn't say, where's my money? You didn't bring a lawsuit while you were living together. It wasn't until after you separated that you said, you know, that's not reasonable. She got the car, she got the dog, and I don't have this money, so I have a problem with that. There's a certain lack of, I believe, candor on your part when you say this was a debt that she promised to pay me back. Even you acknowledge that you had sort of a loose arrangement with regard to money. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Good. Case is dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I knew Judge Judy would know what to do. She always does.
She asked me repeatedly, how much money do I owe you? And I gave her a total.
Peter likes to have things his way only, and if he doesn't get them his way, he jumps right in and proves that he's right.
And then when she lost her lawsuit that she was filing, she chose not to pay me back. Told me I owed her money.
I'm really glad I didn't marry him, and I'm really glad this is over, and I thank Judge Judy.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Peterson versus Parker. Step forward, please.
22-year-old student Lauren Peterson is suing her former lover, 24-year-old insurance adjuster Christopher Parker, for an unpaid loan to buy a CD player. Christopher claims it was a graduation present.
Ms. Peterson, you claim that the defendant owes you for a loan, it's about a year old, for a CD player for his car. You and the defendant know each other for a long time from college, but only briefly dated, according to you.
Yes.
Mr. Parker says you did, in fact, put the CD player that he wanted for his car on your credit card, but that it was a graduation present. That's your defense. Is that right,
Yes.
sir? How long did you date Ms. Peterson, Mr. Parker?
Somewhere around 6 weeks, not very long.
From when to when?
I want to say right before Christmas until probably a little after January.
And you graduated from college at that time, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And tell me about this gift that she purchased for you. When did she purchase it? Where were you? How did she know you wanted it?
She purchased it, I guess, during January. It's been a while. I don't quite remember.
If you don't remember, then I'm going to have to ask her.
Okay.
He asked me to borrow it the last week in January, asked me to borrow money for the CD player. He actually ordered it himself online and used my credit card number.
Where was he when he purchased it? At your house or at his house?
At his house. We never lived together.
So were you at his house when he...
No, ma'am. I was in college, which is an hour away from...
So he called you on the phone?
Yes.
Tell me about the conversation.
He had been looking at CD players to put in his newly purchased car, and he found one that he liked, which had a limited availability. So he was talking about it for a day or two, and then he asked me if he could borrow the money. And I said, because he asked me if he could borrow the money, that was the only reason I was loaning him the money, and I would expect repayment when he got a job.
Go ahead.
It did happen like that, except for I didn't ask to borrow it. She said since I had graduated, she'd go ahead and pay for it.
Well, just a second. You called her at her house?
Well, we were talking on the phone, and I was telling her what I'd found.
Well, tell me about the conversation now that you remember it better.
What do you mean? Oh,
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
we were talking on the telephone, and because I had DSL, so I had the internet connection already. So I was telling her what I had found on there, and she said, go ahead and order it. She'd pay for it.
You're talking to her on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and you're playing with your computer at the same time,
That's correct.
right? I hate when people do that. So you're talking to her on the phone, and you're playing with your computer, and you found this CD player that you wanted for your car. While you're talking to her on the phone,
Mm-hmm.
you said, I found the CD player that I want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to buy it for me as a gift? I mean, how did that, I really want
You know
to
how it came about? Because, like she said, there was limited availability, and at the current time, I didn't have a job, so she offered to buy it.
Tell me, don't say she offered to buy it, because that's not what people usually say to each other. I'm offering to buy this to you.
Well, she just said that she would pay for it.
And?
So I said, okay.
How much after that did you stop seeing each other?
I don't recall.
I do.
Go ahead.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
February 13th.
And what happened to your relationship with Miss Peterson within 2 weeks of purchasing this CD player?
I just decided that I didn't want to see her anymore, and so I broke up with her, told her I didn't want to talk to her, and she kept harassing me.
Well, first of all, Miss Peterson, let's start with this. I don't know what you see in him, or what you saw in him. Whatever it is, I don't see it. Let's start from that. Right, and maybe my eyes are getting old, but I don't see it. Visually, I don't see it. Now, maybe there's a character thing there or something else. Animal sensuality, I don't see that either. So maybe we're talking character.
Judge Judy will continue in a moment.
I certainly don't see good character, because if within 2 weeks he decides that he doesn't want to see you anymore, the nice thing would be to pay her back for the CD player. Wouldn't that be the nice thing?
Well, she also bought this shirt.
Mr. Peterson,
Do I need to pay her back
wouldn't
for that?
that be the nice thing? There's a difference between a shirt, sir, and a $400-some-odd CD player, don't you think?
No.
You don't?
A gift is a gift.
Really? Not if I don't find it's a gift, sir. Because according to you, when we started this case, you said, I don't actually remember. Well, Miss Peterson remembered very clearly. Miss Peterson said she remembered that you said, I found this thing. It's got limited availability. If I want it, I have to have it now. I don't have the money. Can you advance me the money? I need your credit card number. And I find that you made an agreement to pay her back. That's what I find. How much does he owe you?
Well, this is the total inclusive is $351.46, but he owes me other items.
What?
That several CDs of mine, an Ethernet cable, and negatives to photographs.
Your case has to do with a CD player,
Right.
not a kitchen sink.
Okay.
Not everything under the sun. $351.46.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay that amount in one lump sum?
Yes, ma'am.
So that you didn't have any finance charges, is that right?
No.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $351.46. Ms. Peterson, be smart. Don't give anybody, ever, your credit card.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, nobody. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I'm glad the way it turned out. Justice was served.
I don't feel they're fair. She purchased a gift. A gift is a gift. I shouldn't have to repay a gift.
Look at who you trust.
I guess don't take CD players from people.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Westervelt versus Weaver. Step forward, please.
20-year-old college student Michael Westervelt is suing fellow college student Brian Weaver for pain and suffering. Michael says Brian damaged her hearing when he set off a firecracker.
How old are you?
22.
You know what your IQ is? You know what an IQ is?
Yes, I do.
Do you know what your IQ is?
No, I don't.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a bellman at a hotel.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been steadily and gainfully employed?
4 years.
You live alone?
Nope, I live with 2 roommates.
Do you pay your bills on time?
Yep.
Do you drive a car?
Yes, I do.
You have insurance?
Yes, I do.
So you think you're a pretty responsible guy?
I would say so.
Then why would a reasonably Nice looking, seemingly normal, 22-year-old, responsible guy who maintains a job, maintains a bank account, drives a car, has insurance. Fool around with firecrackers and set them off in a house. You want to tell me why somebody would do that?
Yeah, just at a party, everyone's drinking.
So you were drunk?
I wasn't drunk. I'm saying everyone
Had
was
you
drinking.
had something to drink?
I had.
How much did you have to drink?
Few cocktails.
What was the date of this party?
I don't know exactly. I'd say 5 days before Christmas.
In somebody's apartment?
It was in somebody else's house.
But indoors?
Indoors. We were in the kitchen. About 6 of us were standing in the kitchen making drinks. There was about another 10 people out in the living room. And I saw some firecrackers on the counter. I was going to throw them in the sink.
You mean you were going to light them first?
Light them and throw them in the sink.
You weren't just going to throw them in the sink. You were going to light them and throw them in the sink.
Right.
How big were the firecrackers?
I don't know. Lady fingers, about 1.5 inches.
How many did you pick up?
I picked one.
So you picked up the firecracker.
Picked up the firecracker, sink's in front of me. I'm standing in the doorway. This is the living room. I'm in the kitchen. I go to light it. The fuse takes off quicker than I anticipated. And in panic, I kind of flung it up in the air. It went out this way into the room above about 9 other people's heads. And after the bang...
And exploded.
And exploded in the air. And after the bang, when people found out what it was, everyone pretty much calmed down, except for Michael, and she was pretty angry.
Shaken up.
And bitter. Yeah, she was
and
shaken
angry.
up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean you're not liable. That's for me to decide whether your stupid, irresponsible, childlike actions caused her discomfort.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Westervelt is suing fellow college student Brian Weaver for pain and suffering. Michael says Brian damaged her hearing when he set off a firecracker.
Okay, you're suing him for $5,000 because you say because of that you have bad hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Show me.
Well, Your Honor, when he threw the firecracker, it didn't explode in the air. It exploded parallel between my ear and my friend who was sitting next to me. So when the firecracker exploded, it was, I mean, a couple inches closer, it would have been hitting my face. I mean, it was right there.
He's an idiot. There's no question about that.
Yeah, so...
Show me what it says about your medical bills and show me what it says about your hearing test.
These are the 2 bills that I have. And then this is a hearing test. And it shows that my left ear is 100% and my right ear, the damage from the... I had pressure and ringing, and I've had headaches ever since the incident.
What were the firecrackers doing in this house?
I have no clue. What was the damage to her ear before that incident?
No. I can only tell from what she tells me.
I mean,
she tells me that she had headaches afterwards and that she had ringing in her ear. I don't know what her hearing was before that. It's part of the problem because she doesn't have expert testimony with regard to that. But you certainly are responsible for some part of the discomfort that she had, certainly for all of her bills.
But I don't feel that because there was 9 other people in the room and she's the only one that had a problem with it.
So?
So I don't know if there was ringing or headaches. I mean, how do I know she didn't have headaches before this?
She may have. She says she didn't.
I don't feel that I owe her money for her ears, personally.
Well, let me ask you this question, sir. What if the firecracker, instead of going off a couple of inches away from her face, hit her face and burned her face? Would you feel as if you were responsible?
Sure, because I would see that there was no burn mark before she came into the party. And
then I have to say, just because you can't see it doesn't mean you're not liable. That's for me to decide whether your stupid, irresponsible, childlike actions caused her discomfort. If I find that they did, you are responsible. Now, you may not be responsible to the full extent that she wants you to be responsible, but you certainly are responsible. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a full-time student.
What day of the week was this?
It was a Friday, and it was the end of finals for school, so everybody was celebrating.
Okay. Did you go home immediately afterwards?
Afterwards, my friend drove me to my sister's house, which was closer to the location and that we were partying at. And I immediately told her what kind of discomfort I was in. And my mother is an RN, and I saw her the next day, and I still had the ringing. And
how long did it last?
The ringing lasted for 3 days, and I've had headaches ever since. And after he threw the firecracker, I turned around to see who did it. And he was pointing and laughing. It was humiliating. You know, everybody in the
Shouldn't
kitchen.
have been humiliating to you because he was acting like a
I know
fool.
he was acting like a fool, but just the pain, immediate pain, you know, and to have somebody laugh at you because of it.
Okay, but I wasn't laughing.
He's a fool. He can't help it.
All right, Your Honor.
So listen to me. It's genetic. He doesn't get it. Did he ever come over and apologize to
No.
you? What did you say when you got the flowers and the note from him the next day? Did you call him and thank him?
I wish I could have.
Yeah, because they never came.
No.
And the follow-up also never came. A
No.
week later, a couple of weeks later?
Nothing.
He can't help it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Can't help it. You know, I mean, it's not a legal defense. You know, his genetic infirmity. But
Judge
I
Judy,
want you
can
to
I
have
say
some
something?
sort of sympathy for him because he's going to be like that forever. He's cooked. So I can't say, you know, when he grows up, he'll get better. When he grows up, he'll get smarter. When he grows up, his IQ will increase. This is what it is, madam. You have to have a certain amount of sympathy for him. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The firecracker's thrown in the middle of the air, and she's the only person that's going to have ear problems. I mean, you know, who's to say she didn't have ear problems before?
You throw a firecracker at somebody's face, there's going to be a problem afterwards, you know?
I don't even think it went by her. It was by 9 other people.
I just hope he can grow up.
I think it's absolutely bogus. I apologize.
Okay, I accept his apology, and I hope he learns from this.
For your use.
Mm-hmm. That's not correct.
He was there during the agreement that we made.
Who is this?
It's my father. He's my witness.
Good. Stand up, sir. You have no personal first-hand knowledge of anything. Is that correct?
No much, because...
Now you can sit. What did you think he was going to say to me?
This is Judy Justice. Chastity Rubio Cortez is suing her son, Christian Rubio Cortez, for an unpaid car loan, DUI fees, and tires.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3130, Rubio Cortez versus Rubio Cortez.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Cortez, this is your son. How old are you?
19.
What do you do for a living?
Currently unemployed. I kind of just drive around and deliver food.
Who is this?
It's my father.
Your father and mother are no longer together, I assume.
No.
Is he a witness for you or just here for support?
Yes, ma'am. He's my witness.
Okay. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Cortez. Your mother bought a car for your use.
Mm-hmm.
In what year?
2022.
So at the time you were 17?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh is not an answer.
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the arrangement you had with your mother?
We would buy the car and split it half and half.
Explain that to me. You're going to cut the car in half?
The price was $4,000, so I would pay $2,000 and she would pay $2,000.
Did your mother have her own car?
She did.
So what you're saying is she was going to make a gift to you of the other $2,000?
No, ma'am. She was also going to use the car as well.
But she had her own car.
She did.
What kind of car did she have?
She had a Ford Explorer.
And what kind of car did you buy with your mother?
It's a Honda Civic Coupe.
What year?
2008.
And what year is the Explorer?
2018.
So if I were going to choose a car to drive around, I would choose the Ford Explorer rather than the 10-year-older Honda Civic. That's what I would choose. Take a vote here? Take a vote here? Yeah. Okay. Now, this is what the case is about. Your mother said you still owe money on the car. And your claim to me is you paid for half.
Correct.
And that's all you're supposed to pay for.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a pretty good story. Now, how old were you when you got your first ticket with the car?
17.
What'd you get a ticket for?
I was on my way home from work, and I ended up falling asleep.
Fell asleep at the wheel of the car. What kind of work were you doing?
I was working at a fast food restaurant.
For how many hours?
8 to 10.
What time of the day or night did you fall asleep at the wheel?
I would say 6 p.m.
Did you damage the car?
No, ma'am.
What did you hit?
I just fell asleep.
What do you mean, you fall asleep and the car stopped itself?
I was parked.
Oh, so you were parked and just fell asleep in your car?
I was very tired.
Well, what'd you get a ticket for?
I got a ticket for reckless
Reckless what?
driving.
And did you pay that ticket and get points on your license?
I did.
Anybody help you pay the ticket?
My mom.
How much did she pay?
It was $275.
And that was when you had just gotten the car.
Correct.
Now, when did you get your second ticket?
It was in 2023.
What did you get a ticket for?
I got a DUI.
Did you plead guilty to the DUI?
I did.
How much was the fine for the DUI?
$600.
Who paid that?
My mother.
Well, the $600, now you're over the age of 18. $600 is your punishment for driving while drunk or intoxicated with something else. You wouldn't ask somebody to do your jail time for you. You wouldn't say to my mom, I don't like to be in jail. Could you please go for me? You wouldn't say that to her, right?
No.
Well, the $600 is your penalty for breaking the law. Did you pay your mother back?
Yes, ma'am.
The whole $600?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that true?
That's not correct.
Did he pay you anything towards the $600?
Not towards the $600 yet. He's still paying off the car. He still hasn't paid it off. And the first ticket.
Well, the first ticket was when he was 17 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as I'm concerned, that ticket is on you. Because I wouldn't have let him keep the car for a second after he had the car for a short period of time, drove recklessly, and then fell asleep at the wheel. Somebody had to have reported it. What he said, he was sleeping. Do you understand? Do you know the circumstances of that? Why don't you tell me?
He was coming home from work, and he did end up driving recklessly and like kind of hit an embankment, but didn't total the car or anything.
Well, when did he go to sleep?
While he was driving, I guess. I wasn't there.
Well, that's what I asked him. I'm not getting an answer from him.
Yeah. I mean, he got a ticket for reckless driving, and he fell asleep, so...
You mean he fell asleep first?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I wasn't following this. That he fell asleep at the wheel.
Yes.
As a result of which he drove recklessly, for which he got a ticket.
Yes.
Because he was still driving or in the car moving when he was stopped by the police.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, how much are you supposed to pay on the car per week?
$65.
How much in total did you pay on the car?
It was $2,112.
Just on the car?
Mm-hmm.
And how much did you pay your mother in total?
And then there was another $1,420, and that is for the DUIs and other tickets.
So in total, you're going to show me $35.32 in payments to your mother.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? Is that what you have? Okay. Listen to me, what I just said to you. That was my question.
Yes, ma'am.
I said you have no first-hand personal knowledge of anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can sit. What'd you think he was going to say?
And later today.
You felt as if she was neglecting them, and you went to the place where she was keeping the horses and took back the 3-month-old.
Yes, Your Honor.
You took the baby back with police.
Yes, we had a civil standby.
I want you to tell me why.
Chastity Rubio Cortez claims her son, Christian Rubio Cortez, owes for an unpaid car loan, DUI fees, and tires.
Now, how much do you have, Miss Cortez, as his total payments to you for everything?
For everything, he has paid on the car $3,235, and he still owes for the DUI fees, the tire rims.
Forget tire rims, forget tires. If you want to pay for his tire rims, that's your business. I don't care if you drive a tire without rims, but nuts and bolts in there. Not when he hasn't paid other tickets. That's on you.
Well, I mean, I was just thinking
he
of
paid
his safety money.
$3,235. Well, not so much different. There's a difference in $300. Now, tell me what your father is going to testify to.
He was there during the agreement that we made.
Good. Stand up, sir. Tell me your last name.
Rubio Cortez.
Mr. Cortez, I want you to think back 2 years when your son was 17. Were you and your wife together at that point?
No.
Where were you when you heard the discussion between your former wife and your son?
I was home.
In whose home?
In my home.
Who lives with you?
My other son.
What was your former wife doing there?
No, I just heard.
Look at me.
Yes, ma'am.
You were home. She wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
So you weren't all in the same house together.
No, my other son, he goes and hang out with them. So that's how I was noticed that they was going to buy another car.
So you don't have no personal first-hand knowledge of anything, is that correct?
No much, because
Not much. Well, that was my question.
Yes, ma'am.
I said you have no first-hand personal knowledge of anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Now you can sit. What'd you think he was going to say? What did you think he was going to say to me? You said he was a witness to the agreement that you made with your mother. How's that?
Because me and my brother have both told him about it. And he was...
Okay, very good. Because you told your father. Was your brother there when you and your mother allegedly made this agreement?
Yes, he switched between houses.
Just a second. Where is your brother now?
Not here.
Where is he?
He's at work or home, I guess.
Okay. And so you mind telling me why you brought your father instead of your brother, who you say actually heard this agreement?
Because he couldn't make it.
He couldn't make it because he was home.
He just told me he couldn't make it.
Just a second. Now, you owe your mother $2,600 for the car. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
We agreed to split it, and she expected me to pay more than what we agreed upon.
Well, because he's not taking responsibility of his actions.
And after that, we got into an argument, and ever since then, we just haven't been on good terms.
He's upset with me right now, but I think it will be okay.
Probably not at the moment going to be talking with her that much, but I'm sure I'll be talking to her again soon.
You know, he could not make a contract with his mother when he was 17.
True.
But because he made payments after he was 18, he ratified that contract. The reason that I didn't give her any money for the first ticket was because once he got that first ticket for reckless driving, I would have taken that car away. I wouldn't have kept it in my name. And the kid, clearly, the young man has a, you know, an ongoing battle with the truth. The father, however,
he was honest.
Well, not really.
It almost sounded like he thought he could really be a witness because his other son had told him.
You think so?
Something.
You believe in humanity, I think, maybe a little more than I do. I think that he just got caught.
That's also possible.
Case 3115, Brockett versus Carrillo. All parties, please come forward.
Caregiver Cyanne Brockett is suing her former client, Catherine Carrillo, for unpaid wages, verbal assaults, and lying to her employer.
Miss Brockett, it's your claim that the defendant owes you money because she refuses to sign a time card for you. And your vocation is you are a home health aide paid by the state. How long have you had a home health aide?
Since 2018.
I believe that you indicated in your answer that you have MS?
Yes, I do.
How long have you had MS?
Since I was 42, I was diagnosed with it.
How old are you now?
65. A while.
Long time.
I walk to try to keep my strength and muscles going in my legs.
Good for you.
Yeah.
How long have you had the home health aide?
The service was provided to me by disability through Social Security, and that was since 2018.
And when did the plaintiff take you on as a client?
From February 23rd to March 24th, when I terminated her.
And which time cards of hers, because you have to sign a time card, correct?
I get an email that says a time sheet has been submitted by Cyanne Brockett. So the first 2 weeks I approved, which I even did with hesitation because she wasn't doing the work that she was hired to do.
But you signed it?
It's electronic signature.
Okay. But you didn't fire her after 2 weeks?
Because she kept promising that she would make up the hours to me.
How many hours a day was she supposed to spend with you?
It was 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. And she would come and sit down on my sofa and she would start texting and receiving phone calls and talking. And then one time she said, oh, Access didn't pick up my mom, I gotta go. I'll make this up to you later. And she got up and left.
Okay, so that was, don't speak. So that was one time?
That was one time.
Okay.
And another time she was texting a lot. I go, there's work that needs to be done that you agreed to do, and we need to get it done. And she goes, oh, I'm having a birthday party for my niece. And she showed me a picture on her phone of a cake with the Chanel, the 2 C's on it, and she goes, I'm paying for this for my niece. I got a lot of planning to do for her party, so I have to go. And I said, but what about the work that needs to be done? She goes, well, I could always come on the weekend and do it. So she never did do the hours.
Okay, so that's 2 times out of 2 weeks, and that's Monday through Friday.
Yes.
Well, that's the first 2 weeks. What happened in the second 2 weeks?
Well, I had to go to the pharmacy, and I said I needed to pick up my medication. And then I went in the pharmacy to get my medication. She stayed in the car, and I went and got back in the car, and she came and dropped me off. She said she had to go to her next client. And I said, it hasn't even been 45 minutes. And she said, yeah, well, I'll be back tomorrow. And then she didn't come back the next day, and I was calling her, and she didn't even answer her phone.
Okay.
Caregiver Cyan Brockett claims her former client, Catherine Carrillo, owes for unpaid wages.
Now, what time is she due at your house?
She was supposed to be there at 9, from 9 to 2.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
Are you telling me that you always got there at 9?
Yes, I am.
Every day that you were there?
Every day. Until March 24th, when she asked me to come at 9:30, which was a Friday.
Why did she say to come at 9:30?
Because her and her friends were going to walk at Apollo Park, and that she wanted to exercise and be with her friends. So instead of coming at 9, could I come at 9:30?
Do you remember that?
I remember that conversation and that particular instance, but I did not ask her to come at 9:30 because my friend would leave to go for her walk at Apollo Park with some other friends at 6 in the morning. So I was going to be back at 9, and I even told her I would be back at 9. And I was back before 9, and she never came at 9.
What time did she come?
At 9:30, I was still waiting for her, and then I got a call from her. I guess it was about 9:45, and she said that she came and she had been there, and she waited over a half hour for me, and then she left. And I asked her, why did you leave when you're supposed to be with me 5 hours a day anyways? And I told her I was back, and she told me that I wasn't back, and I was.
Does she have access to your apartment?
No, she was waiting outside in her car, according to her.
Okay.
And I have text messages to prove it was not 9 o'clock, it was 9:30. And she didn't get back until 10.
Okay. If she got back at 10, how far do you live from her house?
I wasn't even at her house. I was at another client's house in the same senior living. And she knew that. So all she had to do was call me, and I would have been at her house.
On March 24th, you say, Catherine texted me, your first name is Catherine.
Yes.
And said she was now at home. I told her it was not my job to wait around for her.
Right.
Well, it is your job if you want to get paid for that day.
I'm not asking to get
Just
paid
a second.
For...
So
Yes,
you're not
right.
asking to get paid for that day?
No, I'm asking to get paid for the other days that I worked up until that day.
Okay. Well, the 24th, but you left on the 24th.
Yes.
So what days are you asking to get paid for?
March 16th to March 23rd.
Would you show me a calendar? How many days was that during the week?
The 16th of 2023 would have been a Thursday.
Thursday, so
the
16,
16th and
17.
So that's 2 days. The 20th would have been Monday, the 21st, Tuesday, 22nd, Wednesday, 23rd, Thursday, 6 days.
You were asking to get paid for 6 days?
Yes.
Which you were actually present?
I was actually present and working.
Now, the first 2 weeks you've described to me 2 events that happened within the first 2 weeks. In the second 2 weeks that she worked for you, and we're really talking about 6 days only in the next 2 weeks, because that's all the days that she actually worked. Do you have specific days that she wasn't there?
She's saying she was there, and she never did any of the work that she was hired to do.
Well, that's a different story. Then you should have fired her. But if she was there, she was there.
When she was there, she was talking on the phone and texting.
Well, that's okay. I mean,
that's a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was at your house talking on the phone.
Yes.
Okay. Now, show me how much you were paid per hour.
At that time, we were paid $17.25 per hour. As of January 1st, we got a raise to $18 an hour.
$17.25 is what you were earning at the time you worked for her.
Yes, ma'am.
Righty. Sarah Rose, you have your computer out?
Yeah.
We're going to do $17.25 times 5. How much?
$86.25. $86.25.
times 6.
517.5.
517.50. Okay. Now, punitive damage for malicious lies to employers.
Yes. She called IHSS, the company that pays us, and said that the reason why she refused to sign my timesheet was because I left the country.
Okay. I'd like to see proof of that.
I don't have that proof.
Well, then you don't get paid for that.
She also verbally attacked me on May 19th.
Okay, so I'd like you to tell me what happened on May 19th.
On May 19th, she caught me outside in Gardens 2, which is in the back and not part of her section. And up until this time, I had never seen her back there. So she was stalking me and found me, and she called me a liar, a thief, and a fraud, and a bitch.
Okay.
And I could not do anything about it. And I was embarrassed because she did it in front of my employer.
Your Honor, that's a complete lie. I walk my dog, and I have a map here of the complex, and I was walking, I do the big circle
Just
first.
tell me what you said to her.
I didn't say nothing to her. She came out and she told me, I want my money. And I turned around and I said, get away from me. She goes, you're going to pay me. You're going to be sorry. I'm going to sue you. You're going to pay court costs. I'm going to make you pay for my attorney. I said, don't talk to me and get away from me. And I kept walking. I never stopped. I never stalked her.
Okay.
I also reported the incident to the office where she lives, and she has more than one incident.
I don't know that either.
That's not true.
Shh. I know that she has to give you $517.50 because whether you were useless working for her or not, your body was there. And if your body was there for 6 days, 5 hours a day, you're entitled to be paid. $517.50, judgment for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
Because I didn't kiss her butt.
That seems completely crazy considering she never did anything, you know.
I didn't do what she wanted. I didn't jump. I didn't wait outside my car in the freezing cold, risking my health.
And the demands of the job of an in-home support worker is to help with tasks around the house. And she never did any of them, so I don't know what was crazy about that.
Never work for her again.
I think that the defendant was really miraculous. She's had MS for 42, 52, 60, almost 25 years. Yeah. She walks her dog, she walks around the big circle, little circle, and she really...
Just needs a few extra help with a few tasks around the house.
Probably a little extra help with moving things, cleaning things around the house. That's it. Lucky that she lives in a country that has a good